Hello and welcome to another video on Adobe Photoshop. And we were talking about the main tools. So let's continue with the main tools. And today we're going to be talking about the Adobe Photoshop selection tools to be exact. And the selection tool is over here as you can see. So when you hover over this object, you will see that this is known as the selection tool is just under the lasso tool. Okay. So as I told you before in the previous videos that in each of these tools where there is a small arrow beside it or at the bottom of it, there is some other options inside those tools also. So for example, in the lasso tool, there was the normal lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool, and over here this is the object selection tool. And when you click and hold on it, you will get some three sub option. One is object selection tool, the second is quick selection tool, and the third is magic wand tool. So as you can see that there is the hotkey mentioned over here, which is the W key on your keyboard. So you can simply scroll between these sub options using the W key on your keyboard. So Adobe Photoshop basically makes the work easier for you, and also it gives you the potential to work much more faster and efficiently. So let's talk about the object selection tool first. So what is object selection tool? So object selection tool is basically a tool which you can use to simply cut out an object, because using this tool you can basically cut out an object and the Adobe Photoshop engine will detect the edge layers and make a shape out of it. So isn't that handy? So now let's see what the selection tool actually does to a picture and how the tool affects the editing effects of the picture. So let's begin. So simply you go to this tool and then select it, and you will get an icon like this. So it's basically a crosshair, and there's a square box just on the right bottom side of it. So when this cursor appears, you can simply know that this is the object selection tool. And the object selection tool can be used to differentiate objects and cut it out or fill them in. So for example, as I can show you that in this picture, when I move the cursor inside the picture, it will differentiate some of the textures and the edging lines of it according to the colors of the picture. So as I told you that there are color coordinates, and these are the color coordinates over here, and you will see the color coordinates changing when I choose something or use the option to edit or cut something out of it. So for example, I want to choose this one, and then I want to right click on it, and I can simply cut it layer out of it like this. So I have cut a layer out of it. Now if I use this, you will see that it has been cut out. So the object selection tool is basically you can select an object, and the Adobe Photoshop engine will detect the color and the object and differentiate it from the others, and it will be much more easier for you to use. For basically normal editing, this is a perfect tool, but when you go to the advanced, you simply have to use some of the color coordination and the opacity of the panels over here. So now if I hide the first layer, which means these layers, you will see that when I unhide this layer is available right now. So this is basically what you can do with the object selection tool. Now let me show you something of the object selection tool again. So let me undo what I just did, and to undo you simply have to press Ctrl Z on your keyboard. So Ctrl Z, yep, and as you can see that it has been restored. And now I'm going to create a image for the just of the view over here, and I'm going to remove this person from here. So as you can see that I can actually differentiate some of the layers over here, and when I click on the person over here, this also moves away. So what I can do is I can first show you that I can make this bag disappear and mix the color within over here to make this person show like there is no bag over here. So I'm going to click on it and select it. Now, when I've selected it, you will see that there are some lines over it. And these are the lines the Adobe Photoshop engine will work with only inside these lines. So now that I've selected it, let me right click on it. And there are some options over here. So there is deselect, which basically deselects the portion that you have selected over here. Select inverse, it will change the color or change the size or the shape of the layer. Then the feather, select and mask. Select and mask is basically you can select it and mask it in the picture. So when you edit it in much more advanced way, you can basically use a keyframe or anchor point to show it. Then there is the save selection, make work path, layer via copy, layer via cut, new layer, free transform, transform selection, fill, stroke, content aware fill, delete and fill selection. And these are the 3D options. So when you enable 3D option in your picture to edit, you will be able to use these options over here. So right now I've selected the bag. Let me first cut it out like this. And as you can see that by simply hiding this layer that I created by cutting this option, the bag will disappear. And right now, if you know some advanced color coordination, you will be able to work over here using the colors to mix the colors from the background side, but this will be quite a hassle, right? So let's not do this, and let's do something else like selecting this bag and then right clicking on it. So when you right click on it, you will get the option delete and fill selection. So this option basically cut the object that you have selected and then fill it with the colors from the background of it. So let me show it. Let's click on delete and fill selection. And as you can see that it took some time, but the bag has disappeared and the color has been matched according to the color coordinates by the Adobe Photoshop engine. So this is how you can basically work on the object selection tool. So let me undo this and move on to another tool from the selection tool. Now the second tool is the quick selection tool. Yes, so the quick selection tool is basically the second option of the selection tool. And the quick selection tool, as the name suggests, is a efficient or quicker way of selecting an object or tool. So what you can do is you can select edge of the component over here and simply cut it out by simply clicking and dragging. And as you can see that it has created a line over here like this. So as you can see that these are the lines, that means that the edges has been created by the Adobe Photoshop engine. And let me tell you that this is not the most efficient tool because there will always be some lackings or flaws over here. As you can see that the edges has not been fixed successfully. So there are some other tools you can use, but let me show you what we can do with this right now. So we can simply cut it, and as you can see that if we unhide the if we hide the layer, this part will be hidden, and when we hide this layer, this part will be hidden. So when you use some other tools, you'll be able to get back the background color or the objects that were available here and create a very great edge line to crop over here. So basically this is the quick selection tool. You can simply select this like this, sorry. So you can simply select something like this and the Adobe Photoshop engine will make changes to it like this. So this is basically what you can do to make sure that one of these things doesn't work like that. So basically right now what you can do is you can also edit any of the remaining components over here, but before that you have to know that there are two layers over here right now, and you have to select the layer you're working on. So as you can see that we have hidden some of the layer over here, which is this one, as you can see. So if we hide it right now, this is the place that we're seeing, and let's work with this layer. So we have to select it like that, and now we have the selection tool selected, and now we can simply select this option, and as you can see that the edge lines has been created, and it's not perfect but it will work. So we can simply cut this out too, and right now if we hide this option over here, you will see that this option has also been cut out. So now what you can do is you can also select this, or you can sometime use the lasso tool. So when you use the lasso tool, it will be much more helpful for you. So you can simply create a shape over here like this and cut it out, and you can simply make sure that this place is hidden right now. So I'm going to make sure to create a shape out of this shoe over here. So I've created a shape. Now I'm going to cut it, and as you can see that this place has been simply cut out, and it's not that bad, right? So you can simply select some other options over here and cut it out like that. So you simply gotta work with multiple layers over here if you want a perfect photo editing. So let me just delete all of this and undo what I just did, because we'll still work with the picture, and I will show you the last tool of the selection tool, which is the magic wand actually. So click on it and you will see that there is the next option, which is the magic wand tool. So right now I'm going to tell you what the magic wand tool actually does. So the magic wand is the kind of tool which actually lets you work with the color coordination over here. So the Adobe Photoshop tool basically works with the color coordination, and it has millions of varieties of colors in it. So in the picture, if one color is over here, there is another color, and it's pretty common, and Adobe Photoshop is an expert in detecting those colors over here. So the magic wand tool is basically a tool you want to use or drag like this. So inside the box there is some colors, and these coordinations are over here. So as you can see that the white is 3648 pixel, 3126 pixel, and right now if you want to talk about colors, this is the color that is selected over here. So this is how you can basically work with the magic tool right now. So you can also cut it out like this and you get this option. So this is pretty fun, right? So right now if you click this, and this is the color portion that you have selected, and it will be cut out. So right now you can also select this part again like this, as you can see, but make sure that you see these edge lines over here. These are these lines, disrupting lines, that makes you show or see that what portion of the component you're editing right now. So you can also cut this one, and you can simply hide this one, sorry. Okay, so I forgot to select this layer, so right now I'm going to select this layer again, and right now I'm going to work with it. Okay, yeah, then I'm going to cut it out like this, and I'm going to hide the layer, and I'm going to still work on this one and cut it out and hide the layer. work it out. And right now what I'm going to do is again cut it out. So when I do this, I simply made sure that this is a transparent space right now, right? So I can simply add any kind of color over here. So I'm going to show you how to add color or anything over here, so in the next video, but let's talk about the magic wand tool more right now. So this is basically the work of the magic wand tool. You can also select it over here like this, creating a line, but simply you have to select the layer first. So when I've selected the layer first, as you can see, now I can work with the magic wand tool and I can simply select it. Yep. So now that I've worked on it, I can simply make sure that these are the lines that I'm working with right now. Yep. So basically, as you can see that I can basically cut all of this part out, but it will be pretty difficult over here right now, as you can see. So to make sure how this works, basically, I really don't want this to be damaged anymore, because this is the perfect crop out edit right now, because when I zoom in over here you will see that the edges over here has been cut down smoothly, and you can simply see the part over here that how it was and how it is. This is the part that has been cut out over here. You will see some lines over here like this when you zoom in inside the pixel. As you can see that this box over here, small box, these are pixels over here, and we have cropped out from here this pixel over here. These are the edge lines over here. So you can simply zoom in and see that how much you have edited and everything over here. So when I move the picture over here, you will see that this place has been selected like this. So this is basically what we work with right now, and this is how you can also work with the Adobe Photoshop selection tool. So remember that the main tool is one of the vital parts of Adobe Photoshop, and you gotta learn how to use all the tools together, because when you use all the tools for their different purposes in one of the components, you will get a much more smoother workaround over here. So that's about the selection tool. I'll see you and talk about the next tool in another video.